Earlier today, I spoke with foreign policy expert and former ambassador to Japan, Senator Bill Hagerty, about Joe Biden's continued indecisiveness in the Russian-Ukraine war. Please take a listen. Senator Hagerty, as always, sir, welcome to the show. I want to talk about your amendments to the China competition bill and some other things, but I just want to begin. As far as we know, the NATO meeting in Brussels has produced no new energy sanctions, no secondary banking sanctions, such as our friend Pat Toomey has proposed, no gold secondary sanctions, which would damage their foreign exchange reserves, as you and some others have proposed in a bipartisan way. I guess what I want to ask you, Senator, is, does the United States government, does the Biden administration want to win this war? Do they want Ukraine to win this war? Or is their whole strategy a kind of managed decline, a standoff, we just get this thing over behind us? I mean, I don't hear any rhetoric. Putin is a war criminal. We should bring him to the international court, regardless of what happens. Things of that sort. Reagan used to say, we win, they lose. Do we want Ukraine to win this or not, Senator Hagerty?
Larry, I think what you see is a default back to the old leading from behind position. Again, you mentioned gold sanctions. It's taken the Congress to lead that. We were on a call, Senator Cornyn and myself, Senator King, Senator Hassan, the four of us who sponsored this bipartisan legislation. We had a call with Secretary Yellen last night. Now the Treasury stepped up to do what we need them to do. Our legislation will move through to actually sanction Russia's gold. But the Congress has been pushing this administration to lead. If you think about it, what we're finding out is that Vladimir Putin has done more to unite NATO than certainly anybody here in the Biden administration. Finally, President Trump is certainly being vindicated. He called on NATO to strengthen itself the entirety of his administration. Finally, it's happening. They should have done this much sooner. Perhaps we wouldn't be in this position. But what we have, I think, again, is the Biden administration backsliding toward the old, position of leading from behind.
Again, I just have the sense, and I have not seen all of President Biden's press conference in Brussels, but I saw some of it, and I didn't see any particular breakthroughs. I mean, do we want to establish beyond a shadow of a doubt that the United States recognizes Putin as a war criminal? He's a madman. His whole system is corrupt, and he needs to be replaced. Do we want Ukraine to win? That's what I'm asking. Or do we just want some kind of standoff? Because I think American voters and Americans in general who love freedom and democracy, they are rooting for Ukraine to win. And if we would give Ukraine the weapons, for example, I've not heard any new information about giving them these MiG airplanes or whatever else President Zelensky wants. I mean, do we want Ukraine to win or not?
The answer is certainly yes if you live in Tennessee, where I'm from, Larry. And what we're doing, in fact, the Congress, again, back to who's leading here. Congress actually has appropriated a tremendous amount of resources, both humanitarian aid and lethal aid. The job right now is to get it there. From an operational standpoint, that's where the administration should be focused so that we continue to arm the Ukrainian people. They've shown a tremendous amount of resiliency here. And I think that President Zelensky has actually certainly motivated his own people, but he's learned that putting Ukraine first is working for him and his people, but it's also motivated the entire world. You see the free nations around the world coming to his aid, coming to his support, and everybody wants to see this resolved in a way that has the Ukrainians win.
Yeah, well, I think you're right globally, sir. I'm not sure I think you're right in the White House, okay? No. That's my problem right now. And some Reagan rhetoric would do well here. Now, you did mention, I don't want to let that pass, you think your secondary sanctions on gold sales from Russia will, in fact, be adopted by the Congress and the Treasury?
Yes, we've got bipartisan support right now. Again, our call with Treasury Secretary Yellen moved them to a point to take some affirmative action today. We're going to close all of that in together with this legislation, so I feel very confident that we'll get it done. Again, we're trying to basically seal off all avenues that Russia may have to circumvent the sanctions, to continue to put pressure on their local economy, and to cut off their ability to continue to fund this war.
No, it's a good point. What about, though, I'm not hearing, Pat Toomey was on the show again last evening, his idea of secondary banking sanctions, which I think is essential. Or, Holman Jenkins has an interesting point. If Europe wants to buy oil and gas from Russia, don't give Russia the cash. Put the cash in an escrow bank account until the war is over or until Putin is no longer the leader of Russia. But we still have these gigantic loopholes to finance Russia's military machine.
We need to do everything we can to close these loopholes, whether it's coming in secondary sanctions on banking, dealing with the alternatives to the SWIFT system, which I'm in favor of. What Holman Jenkins described is also a model that we've used with respect to Iran, Larry. You'll remember that. That was the model that several nations used when they were buying oil from Iran before we imposed the secondary sanctions there. There are plenty of ways to get at this, but we need to do it now. We need to do it quickly.
So let me just go back to your amendments to this so-called China competition bill, which, as you know, is my least favorite bill right now. Why won't they put a fentanyl amendment in there?
It's beyond my comprehension. We are losing so many to overdoses and deaths due to this fentanyl that's coming across this poor southern border that the Biden administration has created. Larry, you were there at the G20. I remember talking with you in Buenos Aires when President Trump asked President Xi to commit not to send this fentanyl to the United States. He did. But what has he done in return? He's moved it through Mexico. Again, now that the Biden administration has collapsed our southern border, we've created this poor system where the fentanyl is flowing into the nation. If you ask sheriffs in my home state of Tennessee, they will tell you, Larry, that each month is worse than the month prior in terms of overdoses and death from fentanyl. This is a weapon of mass destruction that China is unleashing on America.
You are so right. That was at the dinner with Xi, that dinner. It was the very first question, very first thing that President Trump raised. And you're right. And Xi said yes. But, of course, yes doesn't mean yes in China. The other one, though, Senator Haggerty, I appreciate your good faith efforts. $250 or $350 billion. I can't buy it. I can't support it. This is a lot of corporate welfare. This is picking winners and losers. This is industrial policy. Not to beat down on it so hard, but the fact of the matter is the Semiconductor Association, the trade association, said $200 billion of private money is being put up by the semiconductor people. $200 billion. They don't need government money. It can be all done in the private sector with private investment, which is America's great system. So I'm never going to back this bill.
I'm exactly where you are, Larry. I'm not going to back this bill either. But I'll tell you this. I have put legislation through, and all of my Senate colleagues have joined me. What we've done is put together fast-track legislation to greatly compress the permitting timelines for a semiconductor fabrication plant here in America.
Yes.
We're taking it from 5 years, which is far too long. By the time a plant is actually permitted here in the United States, the technology's moved past it. It's obsolete. So we're compressing that timeline from 5 years to 18 months.
Senator Bill Haggerty, we thank you, sir. Terrific stuff.
Great to be with you, Larry.